Get this. What if I told you that hidden right inside your own DNA are the ghosts of ancient viruses that infected our ancestors millions of years ago? And what if those same fossil viruses could actually be the key to fighting cancer? Yeah, it sounds like science fiction, but it's not. Let's dive into this incredible scientific detective story.
So let's start with a huge puzzle in modern medicine. You've heard of immunotherapy, right? It's this game-changing treatment that basically unleashes our own immune system against tumors. And for some people, it's nothing short of a miracle. But for a lot of patients, it just doesn't work. So for years, the million-dollar question has been, why? What's the difference between someone who responds and someone who doesn't?
Well, scientists had a pretty good idea where to look for clues: the tumor itself. They noticed that in patients who did really well with the treatment, their tumors were swarming with immune cells. It was like a full-blown army had shown up right at the battlefront. The only problem was, nobody knew who gave them their marching orders, or what exactly they were supposed to be attacking. Okay, so to crack this case, researchers decided to zoom in on lung cancer, which is one of the toughest nuts to crack. By getting up close and personal with patient samples, they started to piece together the first critical clues from the crime scene. And the first major clue they found were these amazing things called tertiary lymphoid structures, or TLS. Now, the best way to think about a TLS is like a pop-up military base. Seriously, they're not normally there. The immune system builds them on demand, right next to a threat like a tumor, specifically to organize and launch a super-targeted attack.
So what's inside these pop-up camps? The special forces. They found tons of B cells, which are basically the body's antibody factories. And even cooler, they found germinal centers, which are like the high-tech R&D labs where those antibodies get fine-tuned into perfect, precision-guided weapons. The connection was undeniable. The more of these camps a patient had, the better they did. But it all led to this one huge nagging question. What in the world were these super-specific antibodies actually shooting at?
The answer came from a place so bizarre, nobody was really looking there. It wasn't in the usual cancer mutations. No, the culprit was a ghost. The ghost of a virus that's been hiding in our genetic blueprint for millions of years.
So let me introduce you to the endogenous retrovirus, or ERV. These are, and this is wild, literal fossil viruses. They are ancient bits of viral DNA that wedged themselves into our ancestors' genomes eons ago, and we've been passing them down ever since. For the most part, they're just silent, inactive junk we all carry around in our DNA.
And here's where it all clicks. See, in our normal, healthy cells, our body is really smart about keeping this ancient viral code locked down and completely silent. But a cancer cell? It's pure chaos inside. And all that genetic mess, the switches that keep these ERVs off, can get accidentally flipped on. All of a sudden, the cancer cell starts spitting out ancient viral proteins. And to the immune system, that cancer cell now looks like it's been infected by a virus.
And that, right there, is the big aha moment. This is where our two storylines, the pop-up immune camps and the fossil viruses, slam together to create a brilliant takedown plan.
So here's how the attack goes down. Step 1, the chaotic cancer cell wakes up these dormant ERV genes, and they start making viral proteins. Step 2, the immune system spots these weird proteins and goes, whoa, hold on, that's not one of ours. It immediately builds one of those TLS training camps right next door. Step 3, inside the camp, the B cells get to work, creating these perfect heat-seeking missile antibodies that target only those ERV proteins. And finally, step 4, those antibodies swarm the cancer cells, basically painting a giant target on their backs for the rest of the immune system to come in and destroy them.
And the most crucial part is this. This wasn't just some cool theory anymore. For the first time, researchers had found the smoking gun, the direct molecular link proving exactly how these B cells and their antibodies were taking control of tumors. It connects the dots perfectly.
But of course, in science, you can't just have a great story, you gotta prove it. And this is where the researchers did some absolutely brilliant work to show that this whole thing wasn't just a coincidence, but a direct cause and effect relationship.
And this is just beautiful. This is where you see the scientific method in all its glory. They took the clues from patients and proved them in the lab. So, first clue. They saw in patients that the more of these fossil viruses were active, the better they survived. So they recreated that in mice, and yep, it checked out. Second clue. Patients had these specific ERV targeting antibodies, so they tried injecting just those antibodies into mice, and boom, the tumor shrank. They even found the exact chemical signal, something called CXCL13, that helps build the training camps, and showed that if you boosted it in mice, the whole process gets even better. And this right here, this really brings it all home to what it means for people. When they looked at the actual human patients getting immunotherapy, the results were just crystal clear. The patients who had high levels of these ERV-targeting antibodies, they had a much better response and lived longer. The ones with low levels, they didn't do as well. It's about as clear a predictor for success as you can get.
So this is way more than just a fascinating biology lesson. This discovery opens up a whole new playbook, a new arsenal of weapons we can potentially use in the fight against cancer. Let's break down what this could mean for the future.
This is such a breakthrough for a few big reasons. First, it finally solves that mystery of what B cells are actually doing there. Second, we have a brand new biomarker. We can maybe test patients for these ERV antibodies to predict if immunotherapy is going to work for them. But the most exciting part? This could lead to totally new therapies. I mean, what about an ERV-based vaccine that could teach everyone's immune system to recognize these viral proteins on cancer cells from the get-go? It's a massive step forward.
Now, of course, science is a process, and good research always gives us new questions to ask. The big one is, will these findings hold up in bigger, more diverse groups of patients? We've got to make sure. And we have to be careful, since ERVs are technically part of us. Could targeting them cause autoimmune problems? And how can we safely tell the body to build more of these TLS training camps without going overboard? These are the next big challenges on the horizon.
But really, it leaves us with this one absolutely profound idea to chew on. For millions of years, viruses have been our enemies. And yet, this research suggests that the ancient echoes of those very same enemies, buried deep within our own cells, might have accidentally given us the perfect secret weapon to fight one of our deadliest modern diseases. An ally, hiding in plain sight all along.